What's up, guys? This is Kephas. Welcome back, everyone. We are level 60, which means that it is finally time to head on to Warlords of Draenor. That's right, I'm actually pretty excited about going to Draenor because we have this double XP buff going on still, and I actually want to see how fast we are going to fly right on through this. So, we have to go to the Dark Portal. It's telling me to go up here. I think I'm supposed to go in here. It says in here. So, yeah, I gotta figure out where exactly I'm supposed to go. Maybe it's not here. The thing says go back there. It says talk to the Vanguard Battle Mage. Okay, so I have to talk to a mage. I think maybe it was back out here. Okay, see, things have changed since I've done this. There's a new mage portal area, and it looks awesome. But nope, not that guy. Somebody else, maybe? Not you. I could always just, it's optional. I could always just fly there. Either way. Let's see. There he is. Okay, she. Yeah, okay, so there you go. You gotta talk to this person, the glowy person. I don't even have an excuse. They glow, but I just figured I had to go through a portal. Anyways, yeah, so I'm pretty excited. Here we are in the Blasted Lands. Things have changed. Things are a little bit crazy. This is bringing back a lot of memories because, ooh, there's a, you know what? There's a. Oh, I forgot about the. It's the Midsummer event going on right now. I haven't even really done that. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't really. I've kind of checked out of retail until Shadowlands, so I don't play this version of the game much right now. I mostly play Classic. I still enjoy leveling up this character, of course, but even with the double XP buff, I'm just kind of like, you know, I could level up characters now, or I could just wait until the change comes and level them up in the new version of the game, which might even be more fun. Plus, you get a lot more customization options. So I'm not totally taking advantage of the leveling buff that you get right now, except for this series. So I'm actually pretty excited about doing this little leveling session here because I'm excited about this. I'm not gonna watch the cutscenes though, but whatever. I'm excited about seeing how fast we get through this. And honestly, it will be a minute before we get there because we have to get through this little introduction quest. As far as I know, they haven't ever added in a way to skip this, which I think is kind of funny, but it's okay because I'm pretty sure we get tons of experience for this. And I don't mind this quest line, honestly. I've done this now like more times than I can remember. But it's, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that you could, I don't know if it's still the case, but there was a point in time where you could just grind, not here, but there's a certain area in this part of the game, or yeah, this part of the game, this little quest line area, where you could just grind enemies and level up really fast. I don't know if that's still the case or not, because you can also just go to Draenor. The reason why Draenor is so fast is because basically what you do in Draenor is you go from zone to zone really quick, and you do all of the treasures. So like you just pick up treasures, you get tons of experience for it. You can do like these world quests, they're not really world quests, they're like the thing that the prerequisites to world quests, because world quests came out in Legion, but you can do these like questing areas like in the world that were like you don't really do any quests, but there's just like a quest by going to that area, if that makes any sense at all. So doing those and doing all of the like the treasures, you can get tons of experience that way. So plus you can do the a couple garrison missions, and you can then buy these little potions that increase your XP even more. So we're going to be doing all of that to fly through this as quickly as possible. It may be counterproductive for me to like fly through the series, but at this point it's kind of become a fun little game to see how fast we actually get through this. I was thinking this series was going to last a good bit longer, but since we've got the double XP thing going on, it's fine, you know. Didn't know that was coming, but it's actually kind of cool. It'll be fun to go back and remember the days when they added double XP for months on end, when we were going through crazy times. And yeah, so I'm at the point now where I'm just kind of excited to see how fast things go. So, but yeah, so I remember this place so well. I remember coming here when this was first introduced, like the day one of Warlords of Draenor. There were like so many people here, and you couldn't even do half the quest because everybody was trying to do the same quest. It took forever, but it was so much fun and kind of hilarious just trying to watch everybody like click on things, but then you wouldn't get credit because everybody had to click on it. It was chaotic, man. It was awesome. And also, like, you know, Warlords of Draenor is one of those weird expansions. Like, it wasn't great. Like, let's just be honest. I mean, some people might like it, and that's fine if you do. You're entitled to your opinion. But I don't think it was great. A lot of people didn't think it was great, and that mostly had to do with the end game. But the thing about Warlords is everything up to the end game was awesome. So, like, by that I mean the leveling, right? Leveling up was amazing. And the leveling zones, the stories, and all that stuff is really, really good. It's probably some of the best stuff, honestly. Because, like, I really like orcs. I like how just savage and just no-nonsense they are about everything. You know, they're just really tough. And I think that the game needs that type of character. You know, just tough, you know, no nonsense, not taking any crap kind of characters. I think it's good to have, because you know when you have like, I'm not trying to be mean, but when you have characters like Anduin, right, that are kind of like a big deal. Which Anduin's an awesome character, don't get me wrong, but just the way he is, he's not like gruff and tough and strong in the traditional sense. It's nice to have characters that are, you know, that, like, I've always been a fan of Garrosh for that reason. I thought Garrosh was a cool character because he kind of carried that same kind of archetype or whatever you want, character, you know, just the way he was. I don't think there's anything wrong with those types of characters, and even a lot of them being portrayed as good guys. I mean, you know, obviously there are a lot of bad guys in this expansion, and a lot of the tough characters are bad guys, but then you have characters like Durotan, who's like that, and he's tough and he's cool, but he's also kind. You know, they're just really cool characters that I kind of, that's why I think a lot of people like this expansion, and that's what a lot of people like, why a lot of people like orcs, and they like, you know, a lot of the early humans, you know, because they were like that. So, like, it's just the theme and the music and the zones and all of that, and just the idea of it was really good. And seeing, like, all the cool things that happened, the cut scenes at the end of some of the zones were really good. But, you know, and even, like, building up the garrison, like, at first is really fun. And just, like, the customization you can do, building, like, picking your buildings. But it just didn't have a lot of longevity, I don't think. I think that's really what it comes down to. It didn't have a lot of longevity, and when it was kind of replacing going out into the world and doing things, I think that really just kind of bothered a lot of people, including myself. One of my most famous videos that I've ever posted on YouTube, and what kind of got me known, was my criticisms of this very expansion. So I haven't forgotten what this expansion was, and, you know, and all that, but I can also sit here and say, you know, it wasn't all bad. It wasn't all terrible. There was a lot of good here. And I think that at the end of the day, it's one of those things where, you know, it's like with every video game, and everybody's going to kind of scale differently on this spectrum, but I'd say that, like, in video games, you know, there's gameplay, and then there's story, right? Hang on, what button do I press? I'm trying to remember my key lines. There we go. There's gameplay, and then there's story. Some people prefer gameplay, some people prefer story, right? I think most people would prefer both. I'm one of those people. I think I fit into the category of, you know, obviously both is good. A good story is very, it's important, right? But I do feel like if I had to pick, I'd rather have a good game. And I think that's oftentimes why I like Nintendo games so much. Because Nintendo, you know, they don't tend to have strong stories. You know, it's not like it's not like a game you'd see on the PlayStation. It's not like God of War. But they have very compelling gameplay, and I think that's why their games are so popular. I also think that's why more people will play them, because they tend to have very compelling gameplay. Whereas a game like, you know, The Last of Us, or, you know, even, well, God of War was really popular, but you know, it's I think it's why, like, The Witcher is so popular, because The Witcher does both. Like, The Witcher is an amazing game that also has an amazing story. Elder Scrolls games are kind of the same. Their gameplay sometimes feels a little jank, especially, like, Like, it doesn't always... Well, I don't know. Skyrim is still really fun to play, to be honest. So I can't even say they don't age well. Even Morrowind, if you ever go back and play that, it's still a lot of fun. So, like, they can be janky, but they're still fun, right? Like, the combat's whatever, but overall, they're still a lot of fun. Even Fallout 4, a lot of people didn't like that game. I thought it was great. The gameplay was way better, but I can see why certain aspects of it weren't as liked, like, especially the RPG aspects. Okay, I gotta burn more buildings. So I always get... I always get stuck here. I always miss like one section. Welcome to the blind guy navigating the controller. There it is down there. I see it. So it's kind of funny. Like, I mean, everybody kind of leans, differently on that. Some people prefer gameplay. Some people prefer story. I tend to prefer gameplay. So I think that's why a lot of times and this is debatable for a lot of people as well. I think that's why I tend to prefer earlier versions of the game, over later versions, because I preferred the gameplay. I think that's why Wrath of the Lich King might be the most popular WoW expansion, because it had good gameplay, along with good story, because it kind of brought down the grind a little bit. It made things a little bit more casual friendly, not too much, but it was still fun. And for the most part, with the exception of like jousting, right? And it had probably the most compelling story that WoW has ever seen with Arthas. So, there's a good example. I think a lot of times the best games, the games that really appeal to everyone, tend to be games that have, strong aspects of both gameplay and story. Because like even like Breath of the Wild, for example, even though it doesn't have like a very strong story, it's probably the most story in a way, and I guess you could say the most and least story. I don't know. I feel like it has a pretty strong story, but you kind of have to piece things together. And just seeing Hyrule in ruins is a big story in itself, right? So like it's not like an incredibly deep story or anything, but there's like characters and a lot of theories and a lot of questions, and I think people are interested in that. And then the gameplay is very good. So like even like that kind of game, like Ocarina of Time for the time had a pretty cool story too, to be honest. Especially for Zelda. I mean, there's a lot there. So I think that people tend to really get into both, is what I'm saying. So yeah, I might have just killed my... No, I'm good. These guys are puny. Look at this. We're already about to level up, I think. We're like... I don't know. I think I was like a little bit into 90. Because basically, after the last episode, I just went and picked up a couple treasures and got tons of XP for it. So, let's go ahead and... Can I use... There we go. Get a little bit of healing in there. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyways, let's just keep fighting. But I thought the story here, for the most part, was pretty decent. I think a lot of it got cut, though, is what kind of hurt it. But, like, a lot of it was pretty solid. I mean, the beginning of it was really good. But then I think the biggest thing that hurt the story for this game was that it was called Warlords of Draenor, and you have all these awesome-looking orcs at the beginning, like, on the loading screen. And the thing that sucks is, like, half of them just kind of get thrown away. Like, this guy, for example, I don't know. His story was okay, I guess. He kind of switches sides. Spoilers. I think Blackhand probably got the best treatment. Blackhand was probably the best character, the best villain that this game saw. This expansion. Matter of fact, I'd put Blackhand as like one of the best villains in the game, period. They made Blackhand such a cool character. The voice actor did such an amazing job with him. That like I like to go back and do that raid just to see Blackhand again, and he looked awesome. His armor, his weapon, like everything about him. Like I love his weapon. I use it half the time. Like, it was my transmog. So Blackhand was done really well. Freaking the guy we're about to see here in a minute, Kilrog. No, that was who we just saw. Kargath. That's it. Kargath Bladefist. He got the worst treatment of anybody. Like I hate Kargath's story because basically what happens with Kargath is his story is he was imprisoned in an arena, I guess. Like he was a gladiator, I guess. And he basically everything was rigged. Again, like if you win, you get free or whatever. I'm trying to remember. It's been years since I watched that video, but it was really good. But so basically he was imprisoned and he got free, but it was all rigged anyways. So he's like, screw it. breaking out of here, whatever it costs. And it cost him his hand because he had to bust up his hand, completely ruining it, like mangling it forever, to get out of the chains. And so he did that and inspired a bunch of other orcs, or ogres, no, orcs was right, who were with him to do the same thing. So they became the Shattered Hand. Really cool idea, right? Awesome. So he fought for his freedom. He busted out of, I think it was Highmall at the time. I don't know if it was Highmall. It may have been somewhere else. But he busted out of there and fought the ogres and got free. Awesome story. Probably one of the coolest origin stories of any of them. And then, where do you fight him? You fight him in an ogre arena. He's the first raid boss in the entire game. You beat him, and that's it. Kargath is done. So he dies fighting in an arena, and you're just like wondering, why is he fighting with ogres? 4 ogres. Like, what is the deal here? Why would he ever do this? Even though he's like doing what the warlords want or whatever. It never made sense, and it was just a horrible way to see him just go. Like, he just wasn't. He never did anything. You know, and that kind of sums up a lot of the treatment. Like, here he is. He's cool, man. He looks awesome. Like, cool. Look at his, like, blade. He's like Barrett from Final Fantasy, except he has a blade instead of a gun. It's just kind of a shame, you know? It's kind of a shame where his character went. You know, oh, crap. Okay, so this is basically easy. You just kind of shoot these guys. Supposed to kill 100 of these guys. Spoiler alert, he becomes the 100th that you kill in the arena. But yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. I feel like they could have done a lot more with him. I think he could have been a lot of... I think every one of these, you know, warlords should have been a significant threat to us and should have come across as such. They really weren't, though. And so, like, I think the expansion could have been a little bit longer. I think that having one of them come back and almost wipe us out in Azeroth in the end would have been way cooler than what they did. But yeah, I don't know. I think it got rushed. I think they had to rush it. A lot of content got cut. Grom, as much as I love Grom being a good guy, which is what I would have wanted because he was misled. You know, doesn't excuse everything, I guess, but you know, he was misled. He's doing what he thought was right. Seeing that get fleshed out better, seeing that transformation more would have been much better. They did not do that well at all. But again, it was rushed. So, what can you do? I think the second best thing I think was Gul'dan. Just seeing him get reintroduced. Another really good villain. You know, and then of course you had, you know, Duratan, the Frost Wolf clan leader, the one good warlord that we side with. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, he's an awesome character as well. He kind of disappears after a bit, but yeah, you know, what can you do? But all in all, I don't know. It was solid. I mean, it was solid in terms of like the questing experience for sure. But then it just kind of fell off the rails, or went off the rails, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I still to this day kind of regret. Like, I wish we don't want to go back, right? Because we've already this was going back. This was going back to relive those moments and characters, and we don't want to go back again. So, yeah, I don't know. It's and then of course this is where Garrosh dies. Probably one of the best characters they had, and that was created in WoW. Like, he was started off in Burning Crusade. Great potential. Started off being really cool, hot-headed, you know, kind of like Gen Greymane, but way cooler. And if he had kind of stayed in that role, I think it would have been awesome. Making him War Chief was cool, but you know, it wasn't to last, especially when they made him bad. Again, I've talked about it to death, but like, I feel like there's a Garrosh void in the game. There's a lot of room for the brash, you know, brazen hero, like, just for lack of a better term, the badass. I feel like there's there's room for those types of characters in stories still. I think a lot of people just like those types of characters. I do. I always like to see the Stone Cold Steve Austins, I guess. That's what I always think of when I think of Garrosh. He was the Stone Cold Steve Austin of WoW. He just, you know, he'd give you the bird, he'd give you a stunner, he'd drink a few beers, and he would say no to authority, and anybody that didn't like him could, you know, kiss his butt. And I like that. And I like those types of characters. I think that I think that they have a place. I think a lot of people like them. You know, so what can you do? But maybe I don't know. Maybe they'll bring new characters. I'd love to see like Anduin just like just suddenly just start to become like just this tough dude. It's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm tired of you people screwing everything up. I'm done. We're just gonna fight for the people, and you know, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. Varian was cool too, and of course I'll see all the tough. This may be a hot take, but all the tough, awesome characters tend to die, and get killed off, and it's like you're kind of left with like, I don't know, these leftovers. Like, and there are like really cool female. I mean, there are tough, awesome female characters too. Basically, the Windrunners are all pretty sweet, and Jaina's awesome as well. Like, they're tough and strong and great, but man, it's weird. I miss some of the other characters. I don't know. All the cool, strong. I guess I'll just say all the tough men. I don't know. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of them left. It's really, really weird. I guess you've got Gen, but he's kind of a warmonger, so not a big fan of him. But I do miss a lot of the older characters, especially like coming back here. It's like, man, dude. It's like, because even in this alternate timeline, Grom's dead, Durotan's dead. Yrel's the bad guy now, I guess, or something. I don't know. It's weird. Wow, what happened to all the tough guys? I don't know. I just realized that like a lot of tough guys are kind of gone. That's weird. I guess I'll just have to make characters and they can all be tough guys. Tough, brash hero, you know, tough guys that no one likes, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Coming back to the Savage Lands, what can I say?
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button. And feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and if you'd like, you can support this channel on Patreon. Links to all of this can be found in the description below. This is Kephas. Until next time.